Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Drill.
And I'm Josh, and today we're here to review The Walking Dead issue 190.
Storm the gates. Pretty much, there was no storming of any gates, technically.
There are no gates.
Yeah, there are no gates.
That we know of.
Well, the storming of the gates that I took was the massive horde, which is basically coming.
Horde, yeah.
Horde, whatever.
It's all good.
But
yeah, I agree.
It was pretty low-key until we see the end, and we'll have to wait until 191 to 192. Mm-hmm. But pretty much the start of it, Mercer is trying to convince Rick to, dude, will you just take over and just lead us to the promised land? Because I know you can. Because you did it with your people. Yeah. So just do it here, please.
Well, yeah, and he's pretty much saying, look, I like how he references, like, you know, the governor. She doesn't care. She thinks of she likes you. She cares about you. She considers you one of the elite. And then he like goes, you may be one of the elite, but you care about people.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
He does. He truly does. Because Mercer has seen how he. You know, he comes in, Rick helped clean up the streets when he didn't have to. And, you know, he's heard rumblings of other people wanting to kind of join him. But Mercer he wants him to just join.
Rick is reluctant to do that. And simply because, look, I mean, obviously Rick's been through things like this before. And his whole thing to Mercer was like, look, I've been through this before. And yeah, the people have seen me a couple of times and maybe heard stories about me. But honestly, Mercer, that's not enough for me just to take over.
Right. Definitely. So Eugene and Stephanie are making their way back. They got away from the massive herd. They see the fire, the smoke coming out, and Stephanie knows what's going on. She's like, it's finally happening. The revolt is finally happening. But Stephanie kind of says, you know, I love the Commonwealth, but it does need change. So she sees why there's a revolt probably happening. Yeah. You know, so she's kind of fine with it.
It's really cool. I just guess that's one of the aspects I find about this, that I liked about this issue, is that one single event, meaning the explosion, kind of kicks off the reaction for everyone in the community, and rightfully so. An explosion just happened in the community. So we cut next to Michonne, and she's reacting by she needs to get to a Lodi.
Yeah, she's rushing there. She goes past a guard. The guard's like, look, I'll let you pass because, you know, what you did for us is cool. So he's kind of cool with her. But Elodie and her friends are gearing up for battle. They're like, let's freaking do this, man. Let's get out there. Let's fight. Michonne is looking at her like, you stupid freaking kids have no idea what you're getting into.
I love the line. She's like, you bring a gun to a gun battle, you better expect to get fired back on.
Yeah.
And she basically snatches the gun. Now, you don't see it in there, but I just pictured Michonne, like TV Michonne, taking the gun away and like going and like disassembling it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like a badass moment. Because even as Michonne is leaving, saying, you guys stay here, stay put, don't move. One of the kids is like, Elodie, your mom's a badass.
She's a badass. So she just doesn't want, of course, the kids to get in harm's way. But she's like, look, like you said, you bring a gun, you're going to get shot at. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah.
To die for probably something you don't need to die for. And then we see the massive herd. Stephanie and Eugene are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, did we lure them here? But Eugene was like, we were pretty quiet. I have no idea how they made it to us.
He does have some idea, and it was obviously the explosion.
The explosion, right? Yeah. So they are starting to take Lance away. They're going to, put him in a cage and everything. But then we get Carl, Princess, Sadiq showing up. And they're there to help, but they're seeing the carnage of everything happening. Yeah. Eugene does run in and tell them, hey, look, there's a herd coming. Roughly about 1,000 plus. They're on their way. I
liked Mercer was like, what's a herd?
Yeah.
And like, Stephanie's like, swarm.
It's a swarm.
It's a swarm.
So different lingo for the same thing.
But and that's cool, right? Because you would expect that in a real world. You meet communities that are 1,000 miles apart. Their term of what a group of walkers is going to be is different than the others. And we've seen that in the show even.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So like we said, Carl, Sadiq comes in. Michonne is running in. Like, look, we have to go do something. And Rick decides we have to start clearing the streets. Because
this is where Rick basically is barking orders, and we've seen him take this role before. He is the alpha leader, and he says, look, everyone get inside. We can wait this out. Don't go near the windows. Don't let the walkers see you. That'll attract them. And soon enough, we can wait this out, and it'll be over.
Yeah,
they'll pass through, is what he said.
And then we hear, I'm not sure what it would sound like.
This was freaking badass.
This was cool.
I loved this. So Rick and the group
are inside.
waiting this storm out, is what you call it. And all of a sudden, we hear Magna blowing the horn, and it's Maggie shouting orders to redirect the herd. Now, we know they have a lot of experience doing this, so they know what they're doing. And Magna and Yumiko, they have a nice little conversation, basically just banter,
flirting.
Right?
They're flirting.
But then we cut to Rick and group, and Rick immediately knows the sound of that horn. Now, Lance, what does he do?
He goes right to the window.
Idiot.
Hey, look, they're starting to move away. And Rick's like, get the hell away from the freaking window. Because, you don't want them to be heard. So the herd starts clearing out. Rick's like, okay, it seems to be a little bit better. But let's go out with Mercer. Let Mercer and his troops go out first because they have armor on, and their armor is pretty effective.
Now,
so
Rick does give Mercer, because Mercer's like, okay, we clear the herd, they're gone, then what? What happens? And Rick's like, we get Governor Milton, and we sit down and have a talk. And Mercer's like, well, what happens if she doesn't want to talk? And Rick's like, we don't give her that choice.
Right.
Now, this is the second time that Rick has actually offered to Mercer, you can still turn back. You don't have to do this.
Right.
Because in the very beginning of the issue, he tells Mercer, he's like, look, we can get Governor Milton. We can try and talk to her. You're not too far gone.
Yeah. So he's just
trying to keep the peace.
He's trying to keep the peace. He doesn't want a war. You know, he's not part of that community, so he doesn't want to start a war. So they're clearing the streets. They're putting down the walkers. Michonne comes out. Elodie comes with her, but she, of course, is inexperienced. Michonne tells her, look, if you can't handle it, go back inside. Yeah. And Michonne, they're just taking them all down. And then Rick's like, welcome to the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I love that.
Turning and looking at Magna and Maggie and everyone who came to help out. Maggie's kind of like, or Rick was kind of surprised to see Maggie, but she's like,
nice
you know what?
Between them.
I had a hunch. I had a hunch something was going to go wrong. So I figured I'd bring the troops, right?
It just seems like whenever Rick needs Maggie the most, she's there, and vice versa.
Yeah. She's there.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, the end of the issue, that's when it gets crazy. Governor Milton does arrive with her army.
This turns out to be the army from Greenville. So we know that Greenville is a community of the Commonwealth, kind of like a settlement, I guess is what you call it, not too far from the Commonwealth.
And she is just berating Rick. She believes that Rick this whole time was just playing nice, that he was just biding his time to work with Mercer, to take over. Rick is basically saying, look, that had nothing to do with that. That is not even remotely to the truth. But Governor Milton's not even hearing it.
And the fact that Governor Milton kind of, in a way, walks in on Rick's army being there. So
that's her thing. To her, yeah.
That was one of the main things. She's like, look, not only did you wait until Mercer made his move, but you brought your army here. Like, I know what you're trying to do, which obviously is not anything to do with what Rick wanted to do. And he even tells Governor Milton, I'm trying to keep the peace here.
Yep.
But this is where Governor Milton says, my Greenville army will protect me. I know that something along the lines of, I know they have my back. I will not put up with your deception.
For the future of the Commonwealth.
Attack.
Yeah. End of issue.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to expect in issue 191. I think there will be a fight. I don't think it'll last long, to be honest, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't know. That army behind her looks pretty massive. And who knows? Maybe...
Who knows what... Yeah,
maybe Rick might talk her down after that. Maybe the call for attack isn't an immediate attack, right?
Or maybe they don't know what... Maybe the soldiers don't immediately know what to do because they see Mercer, they see a bunch of Commonwealth soldiers on Rick's side.
What if they turn on Governor Milton?
So they might get confused. Exactly, yeah. They might turn on her. Some might... Who knows? We don't know their alliances, so we don't know how deep Mercer's relationship is with those troops in Greenville. it's going to be an interesting.
It
next
is.
issue.
It's
Really.
kind of hard to know what's going to happen because, hey,
This arc has just been crazy.
we could have an attack and
Could.
we could lose a character next issue in the very beginning.
That would suck, but it's The Walking Dead.
Right? Yeah.
So,
But yeah, overall, I thought it was a decent issue. Not one of the best, but you know, I mean,
this arc has kind of gone up and down. It
Yeah.
really has. A lot of people have commented, and other reviews that I've seen, they've been really disappointed in this arc, just because it's kind of, they feel it's been built up so much to where it's like, well, it's kind of just flatlined
Leveled
a
out.
little bit, because it's not like a lot of people, including I think us, we're not convinced that we're going to get into another war. I mean, yes, this is a conflict, but will it turn out to be the Commonwealth War? No, because the majority of the Commonwealth are so divided, they're not one against the other.
yeah.
You know, so who really knows? Don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed this arc, but there's been little ups and downs, and I'm just
Yeah,
waiting for
I
the story to
guess
kind of solidify and kind of
I've
close in.
enjoyed more of the little stories in this
Mhm.
arc. You
Yeah.
know, like the story with the princess about her, a little backstory of her.
Yeah.
And maybe the little moments like Carl and Rick reuniting and Maggie and Rick reuniting,
yeah.
especially in this episode. But yeah, I've enjoyed the little moments more than I've enjoyed the overall arc because, to be honest, the overall arc is meh. I mean, there's
Yeah.
just not too much going on right now, other than the fact of we get little tidbits of a community that's kind of fed up with the way that they've treated their people.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little reminiscent of the previous governor, not too much, but just kind of how, I mean, even the previous governor wasn't really an iron fist with his people, but you
Not
do
at
see,
all,
you do see,
actually.
you just see some a little similarities just on little things.
If anything,
Not a lot.
he put more of a front on.
Yeah, he was more of a front. Yeah. So
But anyway, still
awesome. It's The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's The Walking Dead. But yeah, let us know what you thought of issue 190. I won't say, hey, if you haven't read the series, catch up, because it's on 190 issues. But hey, stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Turn on that bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up. That helps us out a lot. Follow us at NocBro Nation on Facebook and Twitter. I am Josh.
And Jarrell.
We're NocBro Nation.
We're out.